years.
The average rainfall of Malaysia is not expected to change by much, but the intensity is expected to change. Now, what that means is that we would get higher amounts of rain in shorter period of time. So there was this point that was made that the rainfall in Selangor that we experience is record-breaking, right? Not in terms of the total yearly amount of rain, but in terms of the rain that fell within a period of a day or 24 hours. So we are expecting, in general, more such occurrences to happen.
Dr. Chen did not rule out climate change as a factor that will exacerbate future flooding.
As you have higher and higher global temperatures, what happens is that evaporation increases, rates of evaporation increases. And when you have warmer air, you also have more water vapor in your air. The combination of these two factors means that when you have rain, you have it at a higher burst as opposed to the past, because your air is able to carry more water for a set amount of time, a set amount of period. So that's thought to be the driving force, at least in Malaysia, with regards to our water circulation system.
Now, with that in mind, how can we better prepare the country to face more future floods? Dato' Nur Hisham Muhammad Ghazali of the National Water Research Institute weighs in.
We have widened rivers, we have deepened rivers, we have installed pump stations, we have created channel diversions, we have even have the smart tunnel, which is the one and only in the world, which is a unique solution. And we have built detention ponds throughout the country. We have a few, quite some numbers of ponds in KL, and to detain water so that we don't overload the rivers too quickly. So we have tried all this. So in the future, we may need to be more innovative, look at other means of how to detain the waters before we overload them into the rivers. We will have to add in factors or higher factors of safety in our design. So when you design for flood mitigation, your design is for a certain level of protection. And that level of protection relates to a rainfall event that is a very rare and very high, right? So we use the term an average recurrence interval, and that is commonly used in flood mitigation in hydrology to describe an event which is rare and of a large quantum. So this term, the average recurrence interval, is what we say for design. We normally use an ARI of 100 years. All right, so that's the term we use in engineering. Now, all the flood mitigation works that we have implemented are based on a 100-year ARI. We may have to go higher than 100 years in order for us to prepare ourselves in the coming years.
With lives lost and thousands now displaced, questions arise about the federal and state government's response to the devastating floods. Tonight on Consider This, we speak to our guests if we were forewarned but failed to prepare. Now it's time for a quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Amendments to the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988, or Act 342, supposed to be discussed and decided today, is now postponed to the next Parliament sitting. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said this after discussions with Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob and Opposition Leader Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, apart from taking into consideration the current flood situation in the country. His ministry had an engagement session with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, Science and Innovation at 8 a.m. today, in line with the spirit of the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, on transformation and political stability between the federal government and Pakatan Harapan. Khairi also revealed that he considered the views of a group of experts who gave suggestions and advice to the Select Committee, and he was informed by Chairman Dr. Kelvin Yee that the committee made a unanimous decision to postpone the amendment. He said that if the bill was approved without consensus of political parties, it would hamper smooth implementation of the amendment. The bill, which includes increasing the maximum compound on individuals and corporate organizations violating the law, was tabled for its first reading in the Dewan Rakyat last Tuesday. The Dewan Rakyat was supposed to end last Thursday but was extended for one more day today to discuss and pass the amendment to the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Bill 2021. 181 people in flood shelters tested positive for COVID-19 as of today. Khairi Jamaluddin warned that cases are expected to swell nationwide following flood disasters that struck many states over the weekend. The spike in cases are expected as rescue missions are done in extremely risky situations. Khairi said all states have already been informed to prepare to receive more COVID-19 cases. And meanwhile, an additional 206 individuals were identified as close contacts and have been isolated. The government will not appeal the High Court's order for the registration of Malaysian United Democratic Alliance (MUDA) as a political party. Home Minister Datuk Seri Hamzah Zainuddin said today that his ministry will issue a registration letter for the youth-based party. The decision was made after discussing the matter with Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob and several party leaders. On December 14th, the Kuala Lumpur High Court issued an order for the Home Minister to register MUDA as a political party within 14 days. This was after Muar MP Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman and 12 individuals filed an application for review to challenge the decision of the Home Minister and the registration of societies in dismissing their appeal to register MUDA. On to international news. Thailand mulls reinstating a mandatory quarantine for foreign travelers due to Omicron fears. This as the kingdom reported its first local transmission of the COVID-19 variant today. The government will propose scrapping a quarantine waiver for vaccinated visitors introduced in November. The country will revert to hotel quarantine and a sandbox program allowing free movement only in certain areas. Thailand reported 63 infections of the Omicron variant, with one local transmission, while the rest are imported cases. The Women's Tennis Association said Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai's recent appearance did not address concerns about her well-being. Peng came out yesterday to say that she never made accusations of sexual assault in the first place. WTA in a statement today reiterated its stand for a full, fair and transparent investigation without censorship into Peng's previous allegation of sexual assault. In November, the tennis doubles world champion accused on social media that former politician Chang Kao-li had sexually assaulted her in the past. Chinese language newspaper reported that Peng said the social media post she made early last month was misunderstood. The report did not explain why the lengthy and highly detailed November 2nd post appeared or whether Peng's account had been hacked. Her well-being became a matter of global concern after the allegation, followed by her absence from public view for nearly 3 weeks. In other news, 208 people have died from Typhoon Rai, making it one of the deadliest storms to hit the Philippines in recent years. At least 239 were injured and 52 others missing after the typhoon ravaged the country's southern and central regions. More than 300,000 people fled their homes and beachfront resorts as Super Typhoon Rai slammed into the country last Thursday. The storm that caused massive destruction sparked comparisons with Super Typhoon Haiyan in 2013, which killed over 7,300 people. Meanwhile, Hong Kong is considering issuing a number 3 typhoon signal tonight as Rai drew closer to the city. This would be the first such December warning by the Hong Kong Observatory in nearly 47 years. The number 1 typhoon signal went up on Monday morning and remains in effect. That is all we have for you on AWANI Tonight. Get the latest news updates on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and the Astro AWANI app. I'm Saraya Mia. We'll see you again soon, and thank you for watching.